I'm interviewing Bryan Vais. Bryan, thanks for joining us today. Give us a little description of kind of your background.
All right, let's see. Keep it short. Born and raised in the Bay Area, Los Altos. Educated at UC Berkeley. Worked for 15 years in the utility industry, engineering power plants. Then another dozen years or so in high tech, software business. Now in my third career in the wine business.
Oh, that's great. Let me ask you about the technology section of your career. What did you learn from that, or what takeaways? What do you remember? What struck you?
What first struck me, and when I got into the software realm, was how there was really a little formal engineering process involved with developing software. It was more, a bunch of guys with English majors sitting down, coding stuff up, and seeing if they could, raise $3 million with that.
That's really interesting, eh? And you wonder. Sometimes my impression of some of the best software developers are guys that are absolutely not engineers. They're absolutely from the other side of the brain.
Yeah.
Tell us about your current third incarnation. Tell us about what you're working on these days.
Well, let's see. These days, I'm now maybe realizing a passion I've had for over 25 years, which is to make fine wine. And I have my wife, Linda, to blame for this affliction. She gave me a winemaking kit the year before we got married. This was back in 1985. And we were living in San Francisco at the time. And I had a beautiful basement in San Francisco, perfect temperature, everything set up for winemaking. So I made a first batch that year and got a lot of acclaim for it from friends and family, and kept up with that year after year. And 3 years ago, when circumstances had me looking for a new direction to take in my life, my good friend and brother Paul and I decided this was the course we wanted to chart from this point on.
Well, that's great, man. That's a great story. And what is in these 3 years? What's the thing that surprised you the most? Is maybe the most challenging about the business you didn't expect, or talk to us about that.
Well, there's two things. I was a very competent and accomplished non-commercial winemaker, and the first big challenge was learning how to scale up what I knew into a commercial mode and a quote-unquote industrial scale. I think the second biggest challenge is probably getting our sales model fine-tuned and working. Paul and I both come out of the small startup experience and wanted to build a company that didn't adhere to the old sales models. So we decided to build a direct-to-consumer model focused around internet sales, and that's been the challenge, is to figure out how to get our brand out there, get people aware of it, and drive traffic to the website.
Yeah, that's great. No, that's great. That makes sense, and that's a great new way to kind of attack the problem. And just to finish up as a last question, what's been most satisfying for you in this third incarnation, this third career you've been working on?
Two things there, I think. One, I have to say we're delighted at the reception that our wines, our inaugural release of wines, have received in the market by the critics, by people who taste them. They're all have been very kind to us. I think the other thing that's been satisfying is it's a different sort of sales interaction. You're dealing directly with a customer. They're interested in your product. I keep telling people I love that I can sell something without having to make a PowerPoint to get my point across. so that's been really, really great. The human interaction and the human aspect of this industry is delightful, in fact.
Yeah, that's great. That makes a lot of sense. Well, Bryan, thanks so much for taking time with us today, and I'm sure we'll be back in touch with you to hear how things are going.
Anytime, Hugh. Anytime.